What's going on, guys? NealGuides here. In today's video, we're going over the analysis of a F2 Tekkz versus Msdossary. For me, this was considered, well, I consider this the grand final, the match of the tournament, you can say. It was the Xbox final. I won't spoil it, but you can watch that if you really want to on the G Infinity. I think they've got U channel and EA Sports on Twitch. Anyway, I just want to say this is just my thoughts and my opinion. So just bear that in mind. You know, if you disagree, fair play. Leave a comment section. Leave a comment in the comment section why you disagree. We're interesting and productive to hear your responses. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Just want to say as well, this was very interesting because I think they're two very good players. You know, one thing I would very quickly just say is, I'm as a fellow Brit, you know, I'm always going to support Tekkz, but don't get me wrong, Msdossary has proven it over the last 3 years, and even though this is Tekkz's year, this is a formidable year, and they've obviously had exchanges prior to this match, and I think it's very interesting, and that's why I thought it would be a good game. Anyway, this is as usual kickoff, and to be honest, I think Tekkz gets done by kickoff here. In my opinion, it's kind of a mix between kickoff and a misplace of a pass. You know, misplaces that pass very unluckily, and you're going to see now, pretty unlucky. I mean, to be honest, if I look back at this, to be honest, in my honest opinion, it's honestly just the mistake of the misplaced pass. Because as soon as he misplaces the pass, you can see, look, both Vieira and Hullet for Tekkz, they're completely out of their position. They're already running forward. I don't know if he has them on one of these on balance. I don't know. But you see, as soon as he has one player run out of position, when he does lose the game, you can see over here, just in the bottom of the screen, you can see over here, they now have to kind of track back. It was kind of, I would say, an early mistake from Tekkz, in my opinion. And in my opinion, had that mistake not happened, Vieira wouldn't be behind Ronaldo. Vieira will probably be over here, kind of blocking Ronaldo here, so Ronaldo can't make the run. So you could basically say, well, I think that's just from that mistake. Quite unlucky, but in this scene, the first goal always dictates everything. 3 minutes in the game, and Msdossary is a possession-based player. You know, we know this very well. And the way to beat Tekkz, in my opinion, is to go up against him. Once you go up against him, dictate the play, slow the game play down, and irritate Tekkz. That's probably the best way to beat Tekkz, in all honesty. Otherwise, apart from that, he's unstoppable. So, you know, I think there's probably a very good chance for Msdossary, to be honest. And he sees something straight away. An early change, we see that as well. You know, Marcelo coming off of Virgil van Dijk. I think that's actually very interesting. You know, we saw Ben Stokes did it as well. You know, you can see over here, offside trap, you know, stop the kickoff. But, you know, it's very interesting over here, you know, that Tekkz brought off Marcelo. Of course, you lose that attacking threat, but we all know it's going to be a Ronaldo against Marcelo. And if Marcelo was here, alternative crosses, as we know, are so efficient this game. And now, obviously, Ronaldo's going to out-jump Marcelo. So Tekkz was quite smart here. He put Virgil van Dijk on, that way he can attempt to stop Ronaldo. I mean, maybe I would say 9 out of 10 times Ronaldo will win the ball against Marcelo, but with Van Dijk in left back, maybe Van Dijk will win maybe a bit more. So I think that's actually a really good way to stop the alternative cross. It's very smart, but of course you do lose the attacking presence going forward. You know, we saw Stokes do the same thing. I think it was against #Harry, I think. You know, he put Hullet or Vieira in left back, stop Harry's because I know Harry used the alternative crosses quite a lot to score. So it was quite interesting. So Ben Stokes did the same thing. So I think it's very, you know, as you can see, you got Ramos as well on the other side. So you kind of have the two fullbacks that still got decent pace, but of course it's mainly there to stop the alternative crosses. And to be honest, one thing I would say with Tekkz is he's very dynamic in his play. He's very skillful, but I think his dangerous places going on the wing. You'll see him in every game. Just watch, especially in the 4-2-3-1. He always goes for the wing. Just watch this game. Concentrate on what Tekkz is doing. He always tries to go for the wing because you have so many options: alternative crosses, cutting in, going back. And that's why I think Msdossary reads this very well. You know, this entire game, I think Msdossary defends very well. You know, if Tekkz can't go down the wing one way, he'll try switching the ball to the other side of the pitch and try going down the wing that way. He very rarely goes through the middle unless he's absolutely forced to. And I think, you know, if you watch Msdossary, just watch, for example, the players Msdossary is using. Just look how he defends the wings. it's very, very interesting how he defends. I think he knew this. I think many of the rogue players actually know this. I think they kind of have like a kind of a WhatsApp group or a Discord, and they kind of have notes between them explaining, what do they think, what's the best way of beating Tekkz, etc., etc. Because a lot of rogue players have beat Tekkz this year. Again, very interesting. Again, goalkeeper movement. I think this was actually probably a smart thing to do. It's quite risky because, the first time round, if you remember, in the first couple of minutes, Msdossary actually went far post. So Tekkz has to make a decision here. Does he move his goalkeeper here to cover the far post again, or will he go near post this time? I think he kind of made the right decision. He kind of moved it a bit more down because these players are kind of here to block the near post. They go a bit more in front. You see when he takes a shot, can you see like the far post's angle is blocked out a bit? If you just watch Van Dijk here, just watch Van Dijk. He kind of covers that area. So I think pretty good decision by Tekkz here. And in terms of corners, as you can see, goalkeeper movement as well. You probably see me do this quite a lot, even in my streams. I always take out De Gea and I try to move him either near post, especially because you see the benefit is if a person's using a left footer, there is a chance that Msdossary could shoot near post. It's actually a very good chance, but because he's using an kind of not an outswing instead of an in-swinger, he can't really get the ball in the back of the net. So Tekkz moves the goal. I do the same thing here. I move it a bit more further out because obviously De Gea can use his hands, and that's the best way to defend against corners, in my opinion. You watch the goalkeeper, you see Tekkz brings it out quite a bit, quite smart. It's quite typical, as you can see. It's kind of in the region where I bring my goalkeeper out as well. Positions of Varane also in a good position, and De Gea easily sweeps that up, and I think with Msdossary as well, they all know. I think they study each other's gameplay, but there's some things you can't stop. For example, this, when Tekkz kind of played this ball out, right, it's almost a guarantee. You can't see it, but you can see it now. But as you can see over here, there's two players, Ronaldo versus Marcelo. As we know, Msdossary didn't take Marcelo off. He didn't put Virgil van Dijk on, or he already has Virgil van Dijk in centre back, but he didn't put another player to cover the left back. So Ronaldo, 9 times out of 10, is going to win the header against Marcelo. So maybe I'm just going to presume that Tekkz predicted this, and every time he gets the goal kick, you'll see always look for Ronaldo, because Ronaldo's always going to win the header against Marcelo. That's also very, very interesting as well. So if you've got Ronaldo in your team, try to always pass to him from a goal kick, is what I would say. And the good thing with Msdossary is he's good at possession, he's good at dictating the game, and you're going to see this. He's going to slow the game down. He won't rush. He's already a goal ahead, and we know he's kind of one of the best possession-based players, I would say. Msdossary is a very good base player. He dictates the play very well. I think that's kind of the problem with Msdossary. If you play against him and he goes a goal ahead of you, I think it's a very good chance you'll win that game. But I was just going to say one thing, that when Tekkz gets one goal back, he becomes a different player. You'll see that this game, he doesn't really play the way he normally is. He kind of plays a bit more restricted, doesn't really use the skills. As we saw against Stokes, he was 2-0 down. As soon as he scored, as soon as it went 2-1 to Tekkz, 2-1 for 2 goals for Ben Stokes, 1 goal for Tekkz, Tekkz started using more skills, and that's how he came back in the semi-final. Honestly, that goal kind of gave him the inspiration. And in this again, free kicks again, Ronaldo, good passer again. As I said, Ronaldo's going to win the headers most time than not. There's not that much you can do, to be honest, about that. And I think this is where the game gets kind of really close, because I think in the first leg, people always try to play reserve, or I would play reserve anyway. It's only 1-0. I don't think Msdossary wants to push too many players forward because he doesn't want to concede. And Tekkz, he's so good at pressing the ball high up the pitch. Just watch how Msdossary, though, defends and tracks the runs, especially in this situation. He loses the ball here, and you can see when Tekkz gets advancement of the ball, he almost plays a bit too aggressive here. You see how he uses Vieira? Just over there? I don't know if you saw that. But you see how, for example, he committed Marcelo. A simple 1-2. Tekkz did a simple 1-2 here. And to play Ronaldo in behind. And to be honest, this is actually very smart. This is what you should be doing as well. If you see a guy and your left back, in this case Marcelo, is committed really high forward, take your CDM, literally take a CDM and track that run manually. That's why air balls are quite good to use, or manual switching. So as you can see, as you see Msdossary tracks the run manually. Doesn't really reach him in full potential, but at least he pushes Ronaldo back. Ronaldo has to kind of go back, and he can't go forward. And the good thing with Tekkz is Team of the Year players, as they're dangerous. That's why this FIFA, in my opinion, is probably the most paid to win FIFA. Team of the Year players are so dangerous. You don't even have to time it. Pretty unlucky from F2 Tekkz off target because it's hit the post, but nevertheless, very close in the game. I think obviously the meta has kind of shifted a lot now. Obviously, post-patch, you can't really get those shots as you could pre-patch, but you can still do it. Again, when you go and see, look, for me, this is when Tekkz, I think Tekkz, what makes Tekkz one of the best players, and probably the best player. You see, because most players in this situation, they'll either go back past Ronaldo and try to do a 1-2 inside the box and try to get through, or they would do an L tornado cross to the back post and try to get Ronaldo in, because obviously Ronaldo's going to beat Marcelo, so that's probably a good chance. But Tekkz is one of those very few players that when he gets in his position, he can basically go from here and get to over here just by using pure skills. He's the only kind of player that's got so many skills in his arsenal. I'm not just talking about banging out or spamming it like croquettes. This guy is probably the most skillful player in the game in terms of just using skills. It's amazing what you can do on the ball, and that's what kind of makes Tekkz stand out. And I always felt like when Tekkz is down, this is my opinion, I always feel like he doesn't really show his mojo, you could say. He doesn't really play the way we normally see F2 Tekkz playing, if that makes sense. And that's what I've noticed anyway. I think when as I said before, when F2 Tekkz gets a ball, he plays almost a different game. You see here, just Tekkz playing. I'm not going to really speak over this. I try not to speak it too much when it's not necessary, but just watch. I would say focus on the players as well. Look at their positioning. There's one thing you can learn from these players is look at what players they switch to. Watch how they use their cams to defend. See how he brings Neymar back. See how Tekkz brings Neymar back. All these little things you can add into a game. They're not very complicated to do. Just learn certain things like here. Why certain things like average players they might choose Vieira or Hullet to try marking these players. But see how Tekkz is not afraid to use his cam and bring it back. You see, it's quite good. See, you can learn a lot of stuff from watching these pro players. I kind of do the same thing as well sometimes. You kind of don't really want to bring a striker back too much because you want that attacking presence and someone there for the counter attack. Good play by Msdossary as well. And here you're going to see good goalkeeper movement. Predicted that. Green time shot. You never know what happens here. Again, corners again. Goalkeeper movement. Sorry, going back. Pretty interesting there. I think he's almost waiting for the final attack. I always talk about the final attack in a stream. People always ask me what the final attack is. For me, the final attack is when you wait for 45 minutes to conclude, then you get added time, then you make the final attack. And how the final attack works is, if you start attacking after time is added on, and it's only about, let's just say it's 2 minutes added on, if you get into your position's half by the 1 minute, even if you lose the ball, the referee will blow the whistle. I'll explain to you what I mean nearer to time. But I think here Msdossary is trying to hold the ball, waiting for the final attack. That's why he's not pushing forward. He's waiting for this clock to run down. If he can force an opportunity, he'll get it. He loses the ball here. I think Tekkz looks for the counter attack, and even he does the same thing. He looks at Ronaldo. He sees Marcelo getting marked there, and again he just waits for the final attack. Waits for 45 minutes. So you see here, see how 45 minutes is kind of initiated now. I think, to be honest, Tekkz rushes this a bit too much. I think, in my opinion, Tekkz should have waited for 46 minutes and then commit forward, because once the ball has kind of left, in my opinion, once the ball has kind of left this line, so if the ball is in this area, so let's say you're Tekkz and the ball's in this area and it's 46 minutes or even 47 minutes, the whistle won't blow. You'll see what I mean later on when I explain to you another situation. But I think, Tekkz had an opportunity there, and as you can see the time as well, I think Msdossary is doing the same thing now, waiting for the final attack again. But I think, again, he should have done that. I think he committed too much players forward. As you can see, look, remember what I told you just a couple of minutes ago? The whistle only blows. Listen, I would say, this is the kind of rule of thumb that I learned. If the time added on is 42 minutes, it's 47 minutes. As long as the ball is in opposition's half, after 47, just before 47 minutes, then the whistle doesn't blow. I've always found that when the ball's like kind of in the middle of the pitch, then the referee kind of blows whistle. That's why he's kind of got the final attack. And that's why the whistle doesn't blow. And now the whistle will blow after, kind of you could say not a set piece. I mean, once obviously the game has kind of half come to conclusion. And this is very interesting as well. Stats wise, quite a close game, as you know. Decided as 2 shots. I don't really look at stats too much, to be honest. Tekkz, 0 shots, but don't forget he hit the post once and he had the other shot as well. So it's pretty an even game, I would say. But I would say Msdossary kind of played a bit more of the smarter game. He didn't really push forward as much. He defended very well, in my opinion. Quite interesting as well. And this is Msdossary's team. Interesting again, Msdossary's team. I think Msdossary. I think we can't really see it because you can't see what tactics he uses in game, because obviously there's no way of seeing that. And the commentators, they normally tell the cameraman or whatever to switch the angle so you can't see it. But I think it's very interesting how he kind of lines it up. He kind of has a cam and striker, centre cam and striker, 5-star weak foot, which is what I like doing as well. 2 fast players on the wing. He's got Ronaldo on the wing for the back post headers, of course. We all know now, as I said in my videos, people just do El Tornadoes, back posts. You kind of want the players that can jump, and Mbappe can also jump as well. So that's why. And I think the reason why he plays Marcelo and Msdossary is because he leaves him on balance. I think Marcelo bombs forward. He likes to double up. He likes to do 1-2s with Mbappe and double up on opposition's defenders. That's why you see a lot of the time Marcelo being used for Msdossary instead of someone like, Maldini or another player to be used there just for the back post. I think he kind of sacrifices the back post headers for the attacking threat, or that's my kind of opinion anyway. But again, that's just my opinion. That's what I think. But we can't really see his tactics in game because there's normally these players boxes over here which show it kind of hides the custom tactics. I'll show you what I mean. So I think so Msdossary do an offside trap here. Yes, he does offside trap. Stop the kickoff glitch. And then you see how these camera boxes you see they'll come up in a minute. So we don't know we don't know if they're changing to attacking, defensive, or whatever. I think they're changing on a fly to attacking, defensive. I think Msdossary does that anyway. We saw Msdossary start with attacking, but he could change to old. It doesn't matter what his dynamic tactics are called. He might see what I'm going to presume is Msdossary has attacking formation and defensive formation 4-2-3-1, and I think with his attacking variation, he has Marcelo unbalanced, so Marcelo can bomb forward. So I think he just switches through that in the game. Obviously we can't see it because the face cams hide it, but I think that's what he does in my opinion. As you can see now, kickoff, just trying to defend. I always say kickoff doesn't stop till the ball goes out of play. So I always defend for my life. I always commit every single player behind the ball. I think when a set piece, for example, like now, a set piece takes place, then kind of glitch stops. Typical setup. I think this is very smart. I see Msdossary defends this very well. Watch how he positions Ronaldo. So he positions Ronaldo. So he moves the goalkeeper. So if you look again, it's kind of a risk that he takes. It's kind of obvious he's going to do that. Now, I think he's kind of smart because what Msdossary does is he positions Ronaldo in such a way to prevent the ball going near post, and he moves the goalkeeper up. So he moves the goalkeeper to cover the near post. It's kind of a risk, but he's hoping that the ball doesn't get through past Ronaldo and Vieira. It's kind of like a kind of risk reward kind of thing. If you look where Ronaldo is, as soon as the shot's taken, you're talking about literally milliseconds. See how Ronaldo's position? In my opinion, I think he does this because he wants to cover the angle out. He wants to reduce the angle. So what he's doing is he's covering that angle out. So he's covering the angle towards goal and he's moving De Gea to cover the near post. But don't forget, these guys, they watched each other's games. They know where each other go. And it kind of becomes a game of deception. Are you going to go the same way? Are you going to go the obvious way? Are you going to do the opposite of what you're thinking I'm doing, like a double bluff? I think that's where it becomes very interesting. In terms of when the gameplay is on. Good play there. See? Do you see how Marcelo bombs forward there? You see, that's why I think Msdossary likes Marcelo. You see, I think Marcelo has an attacking tactic. You see how he bombs forward? I was honestly surprised he didn't play like an L1 chip kind of through ball to Marcelo here. Don't forget, Marcelo's got a 5-star skill, so he can do an El Tornado worst case scenario to Ronaldo And even though I think Texas Virgil van Dijk there's a big chance you get it. I'll be honest, that's why I think he prefers to have Marcelo. He kind of wants the attacking threat rather than a defensive threat. It's a fair play to him. I think he can take a risk as well. But obviously now he doesn't have a left back because obviously Marcelo's kind of the extra outlet player. And that was also very good. That was actually very good movement by Tekkz. Just over here. Just over here. This is very smart from Tekkz. Quite difficult to do in practice. So what he does is kind of... Dossary only has one option. You can't really pass to him. He can maybe do a through ball, and hopefully this player latches onto it, do a through ball. But there's a big chance Vieira and Virgil van Dijk will close it out. So what he does is he tries to pass the ball to Eusebio, I think that is. But you see Tekkz is smart. What he does is he pushes forward. So it's kind of two outcomes happens here. Either A, he'll win the ball, he'll stop the pass dead in his tracks, or B, even if he does miss the ball, before the pass is being played to Eusebio, what that means is that Eusebio will be offside, because obviously Tekkz will be advanced here, and then that would be considered an offside position. You see, just watch over here very carefully. You'll see how he commits a player forward. See here? So when the ball is even being passed, look, he's either one of two outcomes going to happen. Either, as I said here, Dossary will play the pass, either Rio Ferdinand will win the ball here, or it will be offside. So it's actually really good defending there from Tekkz. It's quite good. It's quite really hard to do on a high skill level, to be honest, because it's all about taking the chance. Because if Dossary dribbled one more second, it could have changed the game entirely on his back. So it's kind of a risk you have to take. You know, here's good play. And to be honest, I feel sorry for Tekkz here. I don't understand how this. In my opinion, this is just a terrible animation. I mean, when I watched this live, I was thinking, I really felt bad for Tekkz. To be honest, I think, in my opinion, this is just a bad animation. I really feel sorry for him. You know, he kind of commits there, positions him very well, gets a bit unlucky. A very good through ball, Msdossary. He predicts very well what's happening, and I just think that's a really poor animation. That's honestly a really poor animation. You know, you're talking about AI being so OP. There should be at some respect, when you manage to defend like that, you know, it's ridiculous that he's diving into the ball. I think AI should provide some assistance there and at least aim towards the ball a bit. I mean, that was kind of, and unfortunately, I mean, you could have argued if you didn't make a tackle, it would have been a goal anyway. So, you know, it's kind of a split decision you have to make. You know, either you make a tackle. Luckily, he wasn't the last man. God forbid he was the last man. Would have been a red card. Luckily, no card at all, because the referee probably saw he went for the ball. Wasn't from behind, as you can see there. Just pretty unlucky, I would say, in that situation. Now, this is what's very interesting with penalties. Now, I think this penalty was actually really smart. The reason why I say it is because normally when you take a penalty, a lot of pro players, what they do is they immediately, if you watch my penalty guides, what pro players do is they normally move the player. So move the player over here. So the player will be standing over here, and what that means is you can't really see the head movement, because when you stand over here directly in front of the ball, it limits the head movement. So I think what Tekkz was doing was presuming Dossary will move straight away, but with Dossary just takes a shot straight away. A little bit, and I would look at the power here, and because he put a little bit of power, I think Tekkz just presumed he went down the middle, because he put a little bit of power. Like, he wouldn't. I mean, you'll probably put at least half a bar if you go for kind of the corner areas for kind of Dossary. So I think that's why Tekkz kind of stayed put in the middle. Sorry, but to be completely honest, this is what I'm trying to say. When it comes to this level, it becomes a game of deception. It's all about outsmarting each other. I'm presuming that, you know, Dossary probably watched, and Tekkz probably watched, you know, how many times, where does Dossary go on penalties. They probably, I don't know how the kind of pro scene works 100%, but I'm presuming the coaches kind of compile a list of videos of all of Msdossary's kind of shots or all of his penalties, just how they're doing, like how goalkeepers do it in real life in some respect. That's what I would have thought. I mean, I don't know if they do that, but that's what I would have done. Offside trap, as you can see again. And now, see, this is when the game is completely different. 1-0 is one thing, one game, one goal in it. And this is when it's completely different. And I think this is when Tekkz gets really agitated. You know, it's kind of Dossary's game now. You know, Dossary is one of the most possession-based players in this game. He's really good, and I think he plays a very smart, time-wasting, whatever you want to call it, but he plays a very professional game. Just watch. He doesn't commit. He almost waits for Tekkz to make a mistake. He waits for Tekkz to get agitated. And I think that's kind of the only downside with Tekkz. Once he's down, he's kind of not the same player, I would say. I think Tekkz knows that as well. He makes a pause there, I think Tekkz does. And rightly so. And he ends up taking Vieira off. Obviously, Msdossary puts on Ronaldo 5-star weak foot and Pele just behind him for the pace injection. 30 minutes, he's ahead. He wants the pace injection. Also, you can use Pele for tracking back. And obviously, Tekkz probably going to put Modric on. Yeah, he does. Just to get a bit more of attacking. I think when he puts Modric on. I think it does. I think it does here. And yeah, he puts Modric on. And as you can see, Tekkz is playing quite aggressive. Quite aggressive there. He's quite good at playing aggressive. It's good that he committed a good play there. Offside. I'll tell you another thing as well. This is what I meant by they punish goalkeeper movement too much. I know a lot of people are going to be against what I'm going to say. But I think goalkeeper movement introduces a new skill gap in a game. Introduces, a game of chance, psychology, deception, kind of bluffing in a sense. But I think, this happened to me too many times. I think, they've kind of got rid of the Spider-Man movement, so you can't, as they say, so you can't run up and down like a maniac and do some crazy saves. But I think when you watch Msdossary, he actually moves the goalkeeper down. And I think when you move the goalkeeper down like this, you shouldn't be penalised this bad. I think this is just, in my opinion, this shouldn't be this bad. Msdossary makes the correct decision, pushes him down a little bit. You see just over there? I don't think you should be penalised like that. De Gea should be making that save. And that's what happened in the update. I've realised this myself because if you watch me, I use goalkeeper movement quite a lot. I close out angles with my players and use the goalkeeper to cover the other angle. And I think when you move the goalkeeper just faintly, you get penalised. I don't think you should get penalised like that. I think that should be a save. Maybe a rebound save, but not like that. I know it's offside, but you shouldn't be penalised, because he's not like he's moving the goalkeeper all the way and he's far away. He literally moved it down a little bit and he's getting penalised, which I don't really agree with that. A lot of people will disagree with me, but I don't really agree with that kind of mechanic in the game, to be completely honest. But I suppose Tekkz probably thought, that was a chance. And you'll see now, it's coming towards 70 minutes. You're going to see now Tekkz gets really agitated. He makes a very grave mistake here. I think he was kind of unlucky. Msdossary was kind of unlucky because this whole pain was kind of covering this area of the pitch, so he couldn't really see what was happening 100%. But you see the kind of score lines covering the pitch. To be honest, Tekkz plays really aggressive here. He commits his player. And to be honest, Ronaldo is legit clean through here. Almost clean through. Hullet won't be able to catch up. Hullet won't be able to catch up, sorry. And maybe Rio Ferdinand could run towards goal, maybe close out of the angle. But I'll be honest, I think this pain kind of let Msdossary down. And he probably realised this. He probably saw Ronaldo in his peripheral vision later after he realised. And just watch, he plays a very professional game. Locking out the game, time management, or wasting time, as some people say, or time play, some YouTubers call it. But very good time management, locking out the game. He's smart. Msdossary knows that Tekkz is dangerous. He's a very good player. Tekkz just needs that. See, the key with about beating Tekkz, in my opinion, is do not give him a goal. I think once you give him the goal, then he gets belief, then he's unstoppable. That's what I would say. So, Msdossary just playing it smart. He knows the game's almost over. And in a sense, it's 70 minutes, it's coming towards the end of the game. He's just legit just going back, passing. He doesn't really want to commit forward. He's just kind of waiting for a forced mistake by Tekkz. If Tekkz makes a mistake, he will go forward. If not, he's more than happy to go back, if that makes sense. As you can see here, Tekkz, he's not really agitated in the sense of that he's rushing his play. But you can say he obviously, everyone knows when you're down a goal, you don't really play more calm. You kind of want to get the ball back straight away. And like situations like here, I normally think that Tekkz normally tries to go down the wing and tries to use skills. But whenever he's down, for example, here, he doesn't really use skills that much. You know what I mean? Good, unlucky that if that was a better ball, that may have gone in a better place. Unlucky, good goalkeeper movement. A bad header by Hullet in general. And a good counter attack for Msdossary. Again, takes a risk there. Good goalkeeper movement as well by Tekkz coming out, stopping the ball if the ball does go through. But as you can see here, Msdossary's still playing smart, not committing his players. Defending. Watch how Msdossary. Well, one thing I would say is just watch how Msdossary uses his players. He defends pretty well with these players. Watch what play he selects to. See how he selects that player, he selects that player. He's basically cutting the passing lanes, closing the angles, stopping the passes going through. See how he moves Marcel to stop Ronaldo from getting the ball. It's all very good, intricate. Good play there by Tekkz. Honestly, very good play there by Tekkz. Takes the free kick in the end. Now, this is when it becomes a game of deception. And what does he do? There's a fake diamond with Ronaldo, and good goal movement by Msdossary as well. Went near post. That becomes a total guessing game. Good defending there as well. And to be honest, this is when it's basically, I would say at this point, obviously it's the first leg, but I would just, in my opinion, if I was Msdossary, I would just hold the ball now. Wait, as I said, wait for the final attack. We talked about it briefly. Wait for 90 minutes to come. Because don't forget, this is the pro scene. The pro scene is very different from playing casual at home. These guys, I think they're playing for 30 grand or something like that to get into the final. You get 30 grand or something if you lose in the final. So this is not just for pride or just for winning. It's also all for money and also for the reputation. Don't forget, there's a lot of rivalry between these two players. They've had their fair words on this Twitter, obviously arguments and fair play. That's just how it is. All great rivalries have arguments and despise each other to some extent. As you can see here, look, very smart. He's waiting for 90 minutes. And then you see here, this is when when he begins the I think he begins it a bit too early, but I presume he found a chance with Pele here. So again here, he gets the ball here. Now you see, at this moment, even he can do anything. He can even pass back, because you see, at this moment, even if Msdossary loses the ball, because there's only 1 minute of play left, even if Tekkz wins the ball back, he won't have enough time to get into this area of the pitch. By the time he gets to this area of the pitch, the time would run out and the whistle would have blown. If he wins the ball back straight away here, and maybe he boots the ball up, maybe he'll get away with it. But at this moment, this is what I like to call the final attack. There's basically nothing you can do. And I'll be honest, that's a very good shot. He went near post. Most people would have thought he went kind of far post. And here, 91 minutes. This is what I mean by the final attack. As soon as 92 minutes hits, the ball will still be in play. But as soon as Tekkz hits it out, it's game over basically. Or the first leg is over. If you watch this again. It's good ball from, probably practiced that. As you see, look, the whistle blew already. But if you boot the ball up, it would have been a different game. But, what Tekkz does here is, one thing that Tekkz does very well is every time he's losing or he's winning, he always goes for a toilet break. I think this is actually very, very smart, because whether he's winning or whether he's losing, he has time to calm down, collect his thoughts. And what happens is Msdossary is kept waiting. Because what happens is when Tekkz goes to the toilet, Msdossary has to sit there and wait for Tekkz. Now, if you're someone like Tekkz who normally wins the games, if he's normally 2-3-0 up, he normally goes for a toilet break, and he normally, let's say for example, the other guy's trying to get back into the game. By going to the toilet, he's basically breaking down momentum, slowing the game down. Because don't forget, they can't start again till Tekkz comes back from the toilet break. So it works two ways. He can either A, if he's winning, slow the game down, stop momentum, or B, for example, now he's losing 2-0. He has some time to go away, collect his thoughts, come back, maybe have like with his coach, have like kind of like a tactical analysis, what to do better. But anyway, guys, that's my take on the first leg. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy this, I'll make part 2. If not, I'll probably leave it. That's my thoughts and opinions. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, guys.